Welcome back.
Welcome back.
That's right. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to the North Florida Sports Network. It's Portal Kombat.
Best time of the year.
Yeah. To the GM.
Why would you want to be anything else?
Tend to be the GM. It's like the dynasty mode in the old video games.
That's right. Just simulate the season.
Simulate the season.
Load up on talent.
That's right. It's the transfer portal. It's the Portal Kombat. And we're going to do it. Jimmy Reno's here.
Yeah.
We got speculations. We'll talk about the commits that are committed.
We're going to speculate about Miami Hurricanes quarterback.
Yeah. There's a Miami quarterback that needs to be addressed. Florida State has gotten the main piece.
We got our QB.
We got the QB. The big defensive
Took a
player.
big whiff.
Yeah. Everyone was going after him.
Yeah. I think it was a waste of time for everybody.
And he that I'm speaking of is
Nick Scourton committed to Texas A&M. Yeah.
right.
I mean, he's from 5 minutes down the road. I'm pretty sure A&M got him to jump in the portal in the first place. So, I mean,
Good on Elko.
Yeah, I mean, you'd love to have a kid like that, make it 3 for 3 in first-round picks at defensive end, but,
Yeah.
Doesn't always line up for
No.
you. They got Zion Young.
You think Elko's going to get it done at A&M?
I do.
I do too.
I do.
Well, I mean, eventually you got to get it done. As much the infrastructure they're putting into it, Jimbo.
Right. Well, yeah. And I don't,
I think Jimbo did bad things to the place. I'm sure he got them to spend the right facilities, but he was there cashing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jimbo played the villain. The next guy
Yeah.
will come in and do really well.
Right.
Especially Elko, especially, man.
Right.
He was only out of there for 2 years. He's got
He's got the relationships.
Yeah. He wouldn't have got Scourton if he didn't. That's a kid he probably saw in high school.
Right.
Knew his high school coach. Hey, man, I heard you got the A&M job. Well, my kid Nick's ready to just leave West Lafayette. All right, cool. We got $1.5 million for him waiting. We can go up.
Boom.
Yeah. That's
Boom.
all hypothetical.
Of course.
Yeah. It's not tampering.
No, it's hot speculation.
Yeah, it's just guys having conversations.
That's all it is.
People catching up.
Hot speculation. Hot speculation. That's all it is. Hot speculation. Grain of salt.
Let's get into it, man.
What are we gonna?
Let's get into the speculation.
Let's go to Florida State.
Yeah. All right, they got a kid, Zion Young, Michigan State transfer, defensive end, 6'6", 270, originally out of the Atlanta area. He's on campus right now, scheduled to take a visit to Missouri tomorrow. Pretty sure Florida State wants to try to get that canceled and go ahead and get a commitment. We'll see. It would be a nice pickup, man. You missed on Scourton. You need other guys. These are multiple year guys they're going to go after. Scourton was that one and done guy. I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. That's just how I'm saying it. So, anyway, Zion Young on campus. They got a couple other guys they're looking at. Big Toko, his nickname out there at Oregon State, defensive end that jumped in. We'll see if we can pick up some traction there. I mean, you're not going to get an NFL guy on paper, but maybe you bring in some bodies and you develop. You already got Marvin Jones Jr.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a plus. You retain Pat Payton.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not completely
still waiting on your guys to come back.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about Jackson and Farmer.
Right. I don't believe Jackson entered the portal. No word on him. I'm pretty sure Farmer asked for his portal entry to be withdrawn by the school. I would assume they did that. I'm not 100% on when the window closes for them, but I'm if it's not today, then it's got to be tomorrow. Okay. So we'll see.
So you're for defense is the number one concern.
Right. Next year it's got to be.
You need to get.
You got portal. QB locked up. That was number one overall.
Right.
And you got that finally. Defense is definitely the front seven needs some beef and some muscle. Linebacker especially. Stephon Thompson, kid out of Syracuse, seems like he's going to be the most promising prospect in the portal for us to actually get. I mean, I would, that's an experienced guy. I don't know, man. Behind that, I don't know what they're going to do. You're going to be playing young guys there next year. So you really want to have as much experience up front as you can. Getting Farmer and Jackson back would be huge.
Right. Linebacker.
It's an issue, man. There's some other guys out there, Tackett Curtis, the kid from USC. It's originally out of Louisiana.
Linebacker recruiting.
Everything about,
has been where?
Nowhere, non-existent. You get a couple guys that I'll call, Randy specials that we signed.
Even the guys that were just here were not that good. Coming here.
Right. Well,
now he developed them.
Delos was a highly rated kid. Yeah. He was a blue chip kid. He just had no coaching under Raymond Woody.
Right.
Zero. So it took a little bit of time to bring him along, and you saw what the coaching did, man. He was amazing this season for us. Right. Bethune too. And Randy Shannon was coaching Tatum Bethune down at UCF. Got him to transfer. I said Raymond Woody, I meant Chris Marv. That's what I meant. DJ Lundy, he was not a highly rated guy, no. And that's another credit to the staff overall, but to Randy Shannon. You would have liked probably to keep him, but again, it comes down to what you're willing to spend and who you're willing to spend it on.
Right.
But linebacker recruiting, no, it has been non-existent in terms of immediate impact guys. Some of these dudes, even Blake Nicholson isn't a guy that they were going to, he's not ready to start year one, probably not even year two. We'll see. I don't know, man. I don't know what they're going to do there. They got to figure it out, though.
Yeah. Well, they got secondary is probably the best unit on the defense in terms of depth.
Guys that you got coming back. You signed really good safeties last year, at least the promising prospects. Conrad Hussey, KJ Kirkland, Ashland Barker. They were freshmen this year. They made some mistakes. They took their lumps, but they're still guys that you're going to, they'll get better.
Yeah.
Same thing at corner. You got some promising young guys. You brought a ton in there. Every DB they signed is a kid that can play corner. And you're looking at a kid like Earl Little Jr. who's going to take a visit this weekend, I believe. The transfer from Alabama. I think he redshirted. Pat Surtain actually coached him down at American Heritage. So that should be that could develop into something. And I think he's a kid that can play safety or corner. So they'll add something there in the secondary. They always, and that's more like just going back to the last year's class and adding a kid. So again, that's not as big a need as the front seven. And really, ultimately, linebacker, if you're not going to get a ton of experience there and you're going to have to play young guys, then you want, obviously, the front four to be as strong as possible.
Yes.
Even look, another kid, Grady Kelly, defensive tackle out of Colorado State, originally from Navarre, Florida. I think that's a kid that they would like to add.
Okay.
You don't know what Malcolm Ray is going to do. I think he's taking a visit to NC State this weekend.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But he's a guy, I think he's a guy that would probably, at worst, it would be an even draw if you replaced him with a guy like Grady Kelly. I think you may even make the argument there's more upside with Kelly now. But again, perfect world, you keep both of them. But
right, that's the thing.
Yeah,
it's going to be hard to have depth.
Right, and depth is we'll use an example. A kid like Lamont Green Jr. That they recruited, and I think there was the understanding that this kid, you're going to need a year or two, maybe even 3 years before you have the strength and to go out there and be an every down defensive end. And at that point, when he gets there, when he gets ready for it, you expect that he's going to, if he pops and develops, that he'll stay at FSU because of, the legacy status, the relationship he's had with the coaching staff. And you can still recruit kids like that and storm away in your program, so to speak. But it's definitely more difficult these days. As soon as kids get any taste of success, they're going to start getting hit up, man.
Right.
Schools are going to be looking at them, reaching at them, always trying to do the musical chairs.
Right. Well, it's just so hard there's got to be different gauges. There's guys that you have like a Keon Coleman where they know they're going to the NFL draft, like this guy that's going to A&M.
Yeah.
And then you have that are just trying to maybe bolster that.
Right.
More like a Jermaine, for the best situation.
More like a Jermaine Johnson guy.
Yeah. Or how much playing time can I get?
Right.
How's this going to improve my draft stock?
Still with eyes on the NFL.
Then you have the majority, though.
Right. The guys that come to the realization that, there's not going to be an NFL payout for me.
This is it.
Yeah. This is my one chance.
Right.
And even kids that have shots at the NFL, but just because of the position they play, like Quinshon Judkins, the Ole Miss running back, 34 touchdowns in 2 seasons.
Right.
Arguably the top returning running back in the SEC, jumps in because, hey, man, I play running back. Number one, the NFL ain't paying us anything. I've already done 2 seasons worth of work that I've done or a career for a lot of these other backs in college. So, I'm going to get paid off that right now. And Ole Miss ain't really, they're not going to pay me that because they just went out and spent a ton of money on the number 1 portal class. Poaching player after player from their SEC rival, you can't hate it, man. It sucks for the fans if you fall in love with the players, and the kid he'll get pushed back because people that pay money to Ole Miss's collective feel like he's telling them their money's not good enough or whatever. But dude, I just put up a career's worth of numbers in 2 seasons.
Right.
I deserve to get paid, and I'm not going to get paid in the NFL. Even if I go first round, what are the chances that I'm going to get a second contract? I'm going to have to be an all-pro running back. So, don't fall in love with the players. It's essentially the message there.
Right.
It's musical chairs.
It is. And so defense, man.
That's the name of the game, man.
Right.
And there's things on offense that they're looking to add.
Go offense.
You get up front, man. You need some interior offensive linemen. I'm just assuming that tackle will be okay. You got Armella and Simmons, and then Byers is returning. You gotta hope that you can at least get 2 serviceable tackles out of that. But I think they want to add some guards. Pearson Toomey out of Furman University. Furman, yeah. He was on a visit earlier in the week. No commitment, but I don't think that means they're gonna stop recruiting him.
Right.
Terrence Ferguson, Alabama transfer. I think he's got 2 years left of eligibility. A lot of experience. Atkins really liked him. He recruited him hard when he was coming out of high school. Obviously, it's Alabama, so good luck. But I think it's a kid. They're bringing him in on a visit hopefully this week, and I think that's a kid that they could have a real shot at picking up. And that would be a nice boost to the offensive line. You lost Big Meech, all ACC performer. Casey Roddick graduated, but I think Ferguson could be an upgrade over Roddick at least. So up front, they're going to add some guys. They're looking for a running back. Penny Boone out of Toledo. That's the guy that's generating the most buzz. Although, if
I like that name.
Yeah. He's a big dude, man. 235, 240. He's a grown man.
Well, that's what you could use.
Yeah.
Based on you got the Toa Philly kind of.
Right, and you think about having DJ Uwe and Penny Boone in the backfield, and that's about 500 pounds of running coming at you. So that's
Uwe
yeah,
La Legua.
Uwe Ungalale.
Uwe Ungalale.
Yeah,
Uwe Ungalale.
Dude, it. Whew.
Got to work on that.
Yeah, you do.
Got to get in the film room.
It's crazy, man. Gonna watch him trot out and play QB for Florida State.
The Dr. Pepper guy.
Yeah. After hating him at Clemson for 3 seasons.
Transfer portal for you.
Yeah.
Don't show me immediately. You got to get out.
Bro, Clemson's coming into Doak this year.
That's crazy.
He's like, dude, I'm getting you guys at home.
Right.
Who's your oof.
That'll be a heated game.
Yeah, I think, I think people are not as excited about picking him up at quarterback because of his history at Clemson.
Right.
You know, they're trying to just get used to it. But,
No,
dude, it's a huge
numbers.
pickup,
It is.
man.
It's a numbers game. I mean, you think about the
be
guys in the
well,
portal. They went after the top two guys.
Yeah.
And the top guy is still kind of.
I mean, Cam Ward is he declared for the NFL. He didn't sign with an agent.
Because what's Miami going to do?
Well, we can get into speculation now.
Oh, hold on.
Because I got some thoughts, man.
All right.
A couple. I think yeah. There you go. Cue the music.
Speculation. Cue my theme music.
It's the hottest.
Grain of salt. Hot speculation.
May not even need grains of salt with this.
Hot speculation.
No.
Grain of salt. Miami quarterback.
Miami QB developments.
Yeah.
So, Justin, guy who hit the portal, baby Tua,
Yeah.
the younger brother
From Maryland.
from Maryland, as a grad transfer. Now, here's the kicker. He needs a waiver to be eligible because he played 5 games in 2019. So he can't count it as a redshirt year. And this would be year number 6.
So he doesn't have an eligibility. He has to pending it.
Right. Now, I am of the opinion that, dude, there aren't any rules for anything anymore.
Right.
You know, we just had an offensive lineman play his 7th year. Dennis Briggs is trying for his 7th year, you know, so there's not really any rules anymore. So I think once that waiver clears, I think it'll clear. Why not? You know, that he'll be Miami's quarterback.
Why not? I can't play in the NFL.
Right.
Why can't I just come back and keep playing in college till I'm like 30?
Well, you exhaust your eligibility. Are you kidding me? Well, and here's the thing.
eligibility.
The last 2 games he came in game 5 when he was
just
at
keep
Alabama.
getting graduate degrees.
Yeah, graduate degrees. What are you studying? I don't know. Marine biomechanicery.
Right.
Who knows, dude? I'm in college. I swear.
There's no rules.
Yeah. So I think that'll be Miami's quarterback.
Who's that? Tui?
Yeah, baby Tua.
Oh man,
You're gonna have a
Ui
double
versus Tua.
Ua versus
Ua versus Tua.
It's gonna be a good game, man.
Yeah.
Down in Hard Rock.
Oh yeah.
Now, for some reason, the fascists win and his waiver gets denied. I can see Miami looking at a kid like Caden Salter, maybe. Gets a little bit murkier.
Well, yeah. Well, right now, Miami, if you talk to those, Florida's got a good situation at quarterback.
They do. They got their guy this year.
They got
right.
With that schedule looming.
Yeah.
But they got the quarterback of the future, too.
Yeah, Lagway.
Yeah, that was a big get.
National Player of the Year.
Right. Florida State got their quarterback, too. And
yeah, they got the guy they wanted.
So now they're bringing in DJ to bridge that gap.
Right. And I think they're not ruling out Brock, man. I know he's had some really tough situations to be put in.
Hey,
but
if he comes in and beats out DJ.
No, he's not beating out DJ.
Right. But these guys have you don't want them playing next year.
No, you don't.
And
I think that's kind of that's going to be better for DJs if he comes in knowing like, hey man, nobody's looking over your shoulder.
Right.
You're the
here
guy.
to optimize your chance.
Right.
This would never happen in an era where he would be gone, probably already kicked off. He would already be in the UF. He would already be in that because he wouldn't have made it in NFL.
Yeah.
Based on, because he wouldn't have been allowed to transfer as many times. So this gives him a chance to keep developing.
Right. If he wouldn't have been able to transfer at all or just only once.
With the sit out. And
Yeah, it would have been really tough for him.
So this is what you need to do every year. But it's not ideal to do this. I don't think FSU is looking to do this. This was to bridge the gap in talent discrepancy that they had. Of course, you want to operate like Georgia and Alabama.
Because man, it'd be great to not miss on QBs every class that you recruit them. But this is about missing, so to speak, on AJ Duffy and missing on Chubba Purdy.
Yep.
You can say what you want about Tate Rodemaker. I don't think he was ever recruited as the sole intention of this is going to be the future of, we're going to bring him in because he has some tools to work with and see if he develops, we'll give him a shot.
So saying that, you're looking at a guy in Travis who wasn't recruited by Norvell.
No.
So he hasn't had his guy yet. develop.
No. Like he hasn't gone and picked a kid out of high school and developed that kid into the starter. And we'll see if this is it with Glenn and
now. What's that
Kromenhoek.
say? I think that says more about what you have, because what he wants and what he can go get now with the change of the rules.
Right. Well, you look at
you could also have it pitched the other way. Oh, he can't develop quarterback. Well, I didn't want to have to go through the growing pains of doing that when I can go out and upgrade that position.
Right.
And you brought in a guy and Mackenzie Milton too, back, that was going to breed competition. You have a standard that you're looking for.
And what he clearly wants is experience.
Right.
That leadership quality of experience and being able to handle everything mentally, that every situation you're going to face.
Yeah.
Really tough to find a young kid that's immediately ready to do that.
Right.
And you go back and you look at, say, Duffy and Purdy, and, Chubba Purdy was the first class that Norvell signed. He came in, he had to grab a guy. I think Rodemaker was a Taggart take.
Yeah.
He came, he's like, you know what, Tate will take you, but I'm gonna grab a guy. You remember Jeff Sims hit the bricks.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say that he didn't do his due diligence in scouting him, but I mean, when you're coming into Florida State and you may not have been recruiting this kid when you were at Memphis. So yeah, it's realistic to think that, okay, we missed on that kid. Now with AJ Duffy, this is a guy that Dillingham recruited. So you get into how much is Norvell letting the QB coaches kind of determine what guys they want to work with. You read the Kromenhoek story. They saw him throw when he was a freshman, and we're like, hey, who's this kid? He was a backup. He's playing wide receiver and sometimes getting in at garbage time, but there was no film on him or anything like that. So they saw him throw, they liked him. Just like, go after him now. And that's Tony Tokars deserves a ton of credit for working with Jordan Travis, the QB coach.
Yeah.
So Travis wasn't a guy they picked out of high school, but
they developed
the development was 100% on the staff. Dillingham, then later Tokars, Atkins.
And that's what I've looked at.
Yeah. But it's also on the kid.
Yes. Right. And that's why you're going to have these, it's a numbers game.
Right.
And you have the standard that you need to see. And you can't assume that all these guys are going to have it, especially with nowadays in high school. You don't know that this kid's highly rated because he's beating up on a weaker class. He hasn't played against the competition.
Yeah.
How do you know what he's going to fare? And if he's been playing against sub competition, he's just been dominating.
The biggest thing, man, with QB, like the biggest determination of like how you bust at QB, it is between the ears. It's when they get up a level and when they can process it and when they can't. You look at Malachi Nelson out of USC, the number one QB coming out of high school a couple years ago, just never put it together. Now he's going to Boise State, not a terrible spot to land, but not what you would think when the guy is the number one QB. You expect it. All right, it's Caleb Williams. I'm going somewhere.
Well, it's at a rankings position. Quarterback can't, when you're most of those are based on physical abilities.
It's all based on physical abilities.
So you can't, the quarterback's the one position where
even DJ Lagway.
Right.
You look at his tape, you look at him, like he is so clearly more advanced and physically developed than anybody he's playing against.
Right. That's what I was saying. Like you could usually, that's why these all high school all-star games were so compelling, is you would be able to finally see
guys playing against their own.
Right. And they'd be like, hey, let me see this tape. But now you don't see that anymore because
there's no point in it. You know why? Because I already got my scholarship, and that's money that I'm risking if I come out.
I already got my commitment because I've been highly touted.
This Under Armour All-American game ain't paying me money to come out and play in the All-Star game. This school's paying me money to come here and play. I'm not going out there.
Right. It's just changed so much.
Yeah.
And so high school, you have to have a standard of what you need out of the position, and you have to go get it however you have to get it.
Right, dude.
Ideally you want it a certain way, but you have to make
and that's, everybody's done it high school because you've been able to just stash them for 3, 4, 5 years.
Right.
But as that continues to just go away, you're going to start seeing,
Well,
more and more programs start dipping and depend a little more heavily on and
the culture.
Yeah.
Depend on the culture.
Depend on the culture of money.
The culture of money.
Of
the culture
capitalism.
of money, yes. That is the culture of college football.
Yeah.
That everyone
It always has been.
Yes, it always has been.
But now everybody's
it's just right on the front table now.
The people that have always deserved to be able to capitalize have never been able to capitalize. And now that they can,
we used to
shocking
go around,
to everyone.
Yeah. Oh, he got clothes at a department store.
Yeah.
They got shoes.
He only had to pay $34 for 6 polo shirts.
Now,
man.
I mean, dude, it's how
And
many shoes are you going to give me?
Yeah, they get mad. They get mad at this kid Judkins is facing all kinds of Ole Miss backlash, and ungrateful and all this. And it's like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
I just put a career's worth of production out there in 2 seasons. I deserve to get paid. I deserve to capitalize on all this. So, but yeah, that's Portal Kombat for you, man.
Well, we'll get on out of here.
Yeah. I think Florida State will do perfectly fine in the portal this year.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a big, sexy class that it was last year, with Keon Coleman and Fiske. And it
depends on how good DJ does.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
That talk about it. I mean, that's a quarterback.
Like I said, man,
if he hadn't
played for Clemson, let's say he would have played for like USC for the first few years.
Let's go back to his high school rankings. This is a guy that was ranked ahead of.
Yeah, well, he's got an NFL arm.
Right.
The arm is there.
He's got the talent.
The things that have held him back have been, breakdowns in his mechanics. And, dude, his confidence at Clemson was shot. That last year he played at Clemson and still won an ACC title, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, you could tell, man, he had been just demoralized playing in that school. So, mark your calendars when Clemson rolls into Doak, man. Woo!
I was going to say, I saw him play against Florida State. In that game, that was maybe his best game of his career.
Yeah, dude, he was throwing touchdowns with guys hanging on him.
That's the part. You have physically, you got a guy that you haven't had a guy like him since Jameis. Physically, like a big guy that can stand in there,
and that's going to be key, man.
Let's just see if we can get that confidence, get that toughness to develop. That's going to be the key to how good next year's team can be. And, these receivers, who these young guys is going to step up. Or they're going to go get a proven playmaker in the portal, yes, hopefully. But you're not going to get a guy like the caliber of Keon Coleman or Johnny Wilson. So you're going to have that step up.
I think you're going to see Hakeem and Kentron, guys that are already here, are going to be ready to make that leap. Right. And I think they're depending on that.
Right. See Jimbo out there.
Man, it's good to see him getting back to his senses, man.
I like it.
Yeah.
They're just calling it like
He's not happy about the way it ended here either, man. No. But, it is what it is.
But don't forget what he did when he was here, when he had it rolling. It was one of the best teams ever.
The way he put what did he say about this year? Oh, yeah. Ought to have bonus points.
Yeah.
Ought to have had him bonus points.
Right.
Playing that.
Well, coaches know.
Yeah, they know, man.
Well, we got more to keep an eye on. We'll keep an eye on those transfers as they come through, and we'll react to it. And we'll talk to you next time right here on the North Florida Sports Network.
We had to go. Our ride was here. We got a shuttle to our